Hi, I'm JordanAccordion, and this is an introduction to the accordion. All levels are welcome. If you take your left hand, we'll start off with our left hand here just to get an idea for it. Okay, your root C is found because it has a little groove in the button. And now, depending on your accordion, you might have a groove up a few buttons too, and that's E, and down a few buttons, which would be, I believe, A flat or D flat. I don't do the flats that often. Anyway, depending on your accordion, you have more or less grooves, but you're guaranteed to have the C because that's how you find your root note. So basically how it works is it goes up by fifths. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and so C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and so forth. And then it goes down by a fifth. So we find our C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and we keep going. So in the root note on the Stradella bass system, it goes down and up by the fifth, much like guitar strings. If you're familiar with music, it follows a fifth. But then meanwhile, that's vertical on the y-axis. On the x-axis, if you put your middle finger on that C and then use your index finger, right next to it, you can find C major. So C note, C major chord. Then there's C minor following the C major. So C, C major, C minor, C7, and C diminished. Now there's one other row of buttons that is actually above the C, and that's going to be your third. So if we have C, then that's going to be E. Okay? And that's all in the same row if you were to take it out. It's a great thing to practice in the mirror. Look in front of a mirror so you can see your hands. And as we're practicing different chords, what we're going to notice is soon your fingers start to remember on their own where they need to jump. So for example, C, C major, G major, C major, G major, F, G, C. Basically, I've been doing that a long time, but when I was first learning, it was really hard to make sure I only go down one button. Your fingers have to learn to not be flat, they have to be pointed. Bear with me if you're not a traditional musician, but what's really neat is there's C and there's E. Okay, I'm using the one note on the left side above. C, E. Okay, now we go up one from the C, and that's G. The fifth of C is G. So, what is the third of G? It's B. So, now, let's rewind. If we look at the actual piano, right? We have C, then we have G. Now we go to the third. We have E, then we have B. Now, what pattern can we find in that is that the third of our root note's fifth is just a half step down, then C. So the third of G is B, and B comes right before C. It's half a step down, so we have and then the sharp comes and eats us, okay? Or you just do the third. So we have potential there. A good example is in the song Dinah. It's a classic Dixieland tune. And for the most part, we're in C major. But then in the bridge, we hit A minor. But then we carry down chromatically. And this brings up the same exact thing with the third. So we go to A. But then we're going to go down half a step. And then G, and then F sharp. But we'll get to that soon. So there's an introduction to the Stradella bass system. We can do a lot with it. We can have fun with it. We can follow other songs, or we can just make our own. The Stradella bass system here can more or less define the rhythm at which we play our song. So we have 3/4 waltz. We have 3/4 waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or we have 4/4. Then we also have 5/4. And so then there's also something to remember with the bellows is if you run out of air, oh no, what happened? There's no air, so it's not going to make any song. It's not going to make any sounds. The accordion is very mechanical, meaning there's no electrical parts in there. Everything is coming out through the air we breathe. The accordion's breathing it too. So we have to remember to let it breathe, but we can't go too far out or else it's going to be harder to bring it in. So as we work on keeping our fingers directly, our fingertips, so as we work on keeping our fingertips directly over the buttons to make it smoother and some would say easier to play our notes, we also want to make sure we're also keeping our rhythm, our flow with the bellows. I'm not a bagpipe player, but I'm sure a bagpipe player would say something fairly similar. All right, that's it for the Stradella bass system. Check out our next video, which is an introduction to the piano side, and then we'll learn Amélie, the theme song to that. When you go from one note to another and they're touching, that is a half step. When you're going one note and skipping another note, that's a whole step.